A Kansas hay farmer bought an Allis-Chalmers D17 for $8,000 last spring. His neighbor paid $19,000 for a John Deere 3020 the same month. By August, both men had their numbers, and the one who spent less was not the one feeling the pinch. That gap between what you spend and what you earn per acre is exactly what this video is about. And the answer is not what either dealer would tell you. Here is what makes this comparison worth your time in 2026. New tractor prices have climbed so far past what most small and mid-size operations can justify that serious farmers are going backwards on purpose, buying iron that went out of production before they were born and running it against everything the modern market throws at them. The question is not whether old iron can work. The question is which of these two specific machines works harder for less money. And the answer depends on one variable most buyers never check before they sign. Start with what each machine actually is, because the platform tells you everything. The Allis-Chalmers D17 ran from 1958 through 1967. 4-cylinder engine, 40 to 60 horsepower, depending on configuration, built in an era when a tractor was something you fixed in your own shop, with your own tools, on your own schedule. The John Deere 3020 ran from 1964 through 1972. 4-cylinder diesel at 65 horsepower, synchro-range transmission, load and depth hydraulic control, and a parts ecosystem so deep that suppliers are still competing for your business on this platform in 2026. That horsepower gap between the two machines is the variable most buyers gloss over and the one that determines everything downstream. If your operation needs 65 horsepower, primary tillage, heavier planting support, larger square baler operation, the 3020 is not competing with the D17. It wins before the financial analysis starts. But if your operation runs under 60 horsepower of actual demand, hay, livestock chores, light tillage, small acreage general work, you are about to find out how much money the stronger brand name is costing you per acre every single season. Now the money, because this is where most buyers make the mistake that costs them for the next 5 years. A clean-running Allis-Chalmers D17 is currently trading between $6,500 and $14,000 at auction across the Midwest in 2026. A John Deere 3020 in comparable condition is trading between $9,000 and $22,000 at the same venues. That gap runs $2,500 to $8,000 in favor of the D17. And on machines in this price range, that is not a rounding error. That is a transmission rebuild. That is 3 seasons of parts and service. That is real money that either stays in your operation or goes to the previous owner of a machine with a more recognizable name. Here is the part nobody talks about at the auction, and this is where the video gets important. The reason the 3020 commands more money has almost nothing to do with how much harder it works. It has everything to do with how many buyers are competing for it. John Deere's name pulls a deeper buyer pool to the auction row, which pushes the price up, which means the operator paying that premium is not paying for performance. He is paying for brand recognition. That premium shows up again at trade-in time. A 3020 dealer has more comparable sales data, more competing buyers, and more confidence offering a fair number because the used market is established and liquid. A D17 trade-in puts the dealer in thinner territory, fewer recent sales, fewer competing buyers, more reason to be conservative on the offer to protect against a longer selling cycle. That trade-in conservatism can close the entire purchase price advantage in one transaction. An operator who bought the D17 for $8,000 and sells it 5 years later for $4,000 has a worse outcome than the operator who paid $16,000 for the 3020 and sells it for $13,000. The machine that looked cheaper on day one cost more across the full ownership cycle. And that reversal happens specifically because of resale depth, not because of anything that happened in the field. This is the calculation that most vintage iron buyers skip. They run the purchase price comparison and stop there. The operators who actually win on vintage iron run the complete 5-year model. Purchase price, annual operating cost, projected trade-in value based on current auction data in their specific regional market, and then decide. Now parts, because this affects both the annual maintenance cost and the resale confidence of every future buyer. The John Deere 3020 benefits from one of the deepest aftermarket ecosystems on any agricultural platform in American history. Multiple suppliers competing on every wear item, salvage yards with deep inventory, and the kind of price competition that keeps a routine service from becoming an expensive event. The Allis-Chalmers D17 is more complicated. Allis-Chalmers ceased farm equipment production in 1985, when the company sold the division to Deutz. No corporate successor, no factory parts support, no deep aftermarket infrastructure built around keeping current customers happy. The common wear items are available through restoration suppliers and salvage yards. The less common items require patience, sourcing relationships, and occasionally a willingness to machine a part that nobody stocks anymore. If you are the kind of operator who enjoys that process, who has the mechanical skill, the shop time, and the parts sourcing network to handle what a D17 throws at you, the machine rewards that capability with per-acre ownership, costs that a 3020 at current auction prices cannot match. If you are the kind of operator who needs a part by Tuesday morning because the hay is ready and the weather is closing in, the 3020's parts availability is worth a meaningful premium over anything the D17's purchase price advantage can offset in a single bad week. Now the transmission and hydraulics, because these are the working characteristics that show up in your field every single day. The 3020 synchro-range transmission is one of the genuinely well-regarded systems John Deere ever put in a tractor. Synchronized shifting within ranges, smooth gear changes under partial load, and a mechanical feel that operators who learn to farm on this generation of equipment still describe 40 years later as exactly right. The D17's 8-speed is mechanically sound and completely serviceable for the applications it was built around. It does not match the 3020's shifting refinement under load and in conditions where you are managing ground speed through variable soil resistance across a long working day. That difference accumulates into real fatigue and real productivity loss. On hydraulics, the gap widens. The 3020 runs load and depth control with 2 rear remote outlets, meaningful capability for draft-sensitive tillage work and implements requiring multiple hydraulic functions. The D17 runs a single rear remote on most configurations, adequate for its intended applications, limiting for anything that has expanded beyond what the machine was designed to support in 1965. Before we keep going, if Farm Gear Pro is giving you the real analysis you have been looking for, hit subscribe right now. No manufacturer involvement, no dealer sponsorship, just the numbers. Back to it. Now repair access, and this is where both machines deliver something no current generation tractor can offer at any price. Neither the D17 nor the 3020 has a single electronic control module. No software layer. No fault code that requires a dealer laptop to clear. No manufacturer authorization standing between the operator and his own wrench on his own machine in his own shop. The Federal Trade Commission sued John Deere in January 2025 over the dealer-only diagnostic architecture that governs every current green tractor on the market. A $99 million class action settlement in April 2026 committed John Deere to expanded access by end of 2026. The D17 owner and the 3020 owner watched that news from their shops and felt nothing, because neither machine has ever asked for permission to be fixed. That repair freedom has a dollar value that shows up in your annual operating budget every single year. Dealer labor rates on current John Deere equipment run $150 to $185 per hour. An independent mechanic working on either of these vintage machines in 2026 charges $60 to $90 per hour with no software authorization required and no mandatory dealer dispatch before the work can begin. Stack that labor rate difference across 5 years of ownership on a machine running 400 to 600 hours per season, and the repair access advantage alone justifies a meaningful portion of the vintage iron purchase premium over newer platforms. Now the per-acre model, because this is the number that tells you which machine actually wins for your specific operation. The D17 at $10,000 covering 800 acres of hay and livestock support in applications where 60 horsepower covers everything. Annual ownership cost running approximately $8 to $13 per acre, including realistic maintenance and a conservative depreciation assumption based on current auction data. The 3020 at $16,000 covering 1,200 acres of row crop support, hay, and general farm work. Annual ownership cost running approximately $10 to $17 per acre, including maintenance and the stronger depreciation floor the machine's resale history provides. The operator running 800 acres where 60 horsepower covers every application is paying the ownership cost difference between those two machines every single season without receiving any additional productive output in return. That is the overspecification trap, and it costs the same dollar amount whether the operator notices it or not. The operator who actually needs 65 horsepower for their primary tillage or baler work is not in this trap. He is in the right machine at the right price, and the 3020's stronger parts ecosystem and resale depth make it the correct choice regardless of the D17's lower sticker. So, here is the straight answer. Which one works harder in 2026? The John Deere 3020 works harder across a broader range of applications, holds its trade-in value more predictably across more regional markets, and offers better parts access under time pressure when a breakdown happens at the worst possible moment in the season. The Allis-Chalmers D17 works harder per dollar spent on operations correctly matched to its horsepower ceiling, specifically the hay, livestock, and light general farm operations where 60 horsepower covers everything, and the operator has the mechanical depth to handle the parts sourcing the platform requires. The machine that makes you more money per acre is not the one with the stronger brand name. It is the one whose purchase price, operating cost, and 5-year trade-in value add up to the lowest total cost across the specific acres you actually farm with it. Run that model with your own numbers before you bid on either one. The answer is already there. You just have to do the math before the auction starts instead of after. Farm Gear Pro is going to keep tracking the vintage iron market as new equipment prices keep climbing and more operators find out that the machines their grandfathers ran are outperforming the payment schedules their neighbors are carrying. Thanks for watching Farm Gear Pro. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with a fellow farmer and comment below your thoughts on this topic. See you in the next one.